Please remain standing as Ellie Johnson, Student Council President, leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Family and friends, please be seated. Seniors, please be seated. Board members, graduates, parents, guests, alumni, and employees, welcome to the commencement for the class of 2017. Now, this is a time of a lot of advice giving, and there will be some more to be had today. And it actually started earlier this week at our baccalaureate on Wednesday when classmates and parents and faculty and myself, we gave advice to this class of 2017. And there was some familiar advice that you might remember hearing a little bit about. Some of it had to do with taking a little bit of the pressure off our desire this day and age to curate our lives. And when you go off to college, to remember that all of the selfies and the Instagram posts and all the messages you get from your peers that look like everything is awesome might not fully be the reality for everybody. My advice to the graduates was to be patient. Be patient with yourselves during this time in your life. In particular, when you really have a desire to think you have it all figured out. And a story that I used to illustrate that for the class on Wednesday was the story of one former NFL quarterback, Ryan Leaf, who is known as the greatest bust in NFL draft history. And I recounted Leaf's story to get to the point being that when he was 21, he was supposed to be an NFL quarterback. He's 40 now, and he is no longer an NFL quarterback. As a matter of fact, some would argue he was never really an NFL quarterback. But instead, he is helping addicts with recovery. And he is a spokesperson for a serious problem with drug addiction in our society, and he is having a great deal of difference in people's lives. It was just something that he couldn't see in his life at that particular point. And so my advice to the graduates then was to be patient. Your gifts to the world will be revealed. You just may not see them yet at this point in your life. But I want to share just one more piece of advice with you today with another story, and maybe it's a story that's more appropriate for us because I don't think any of us are headed off into a career in the NFL. And this is a story that takes place at the beach. So maybe a little advice that you might be able to use this summer, but also hopefully a little bit of advice that you may take with you when you move on to the next venture in your life. And so this particular story it's a story of an experiment as recounted by Robert Cialdini in his book Influence. And so he wanted to find out a little bit about why people do the things that they do. So he set up an experiment on a beach. And a couple of folks went onto the beach and they laid down a towel on the beach. They brought a radio, and you can tell how old this experiment was, right? They brought a transistor radio to the beach. They laid the radio down, and they made sure that the bystanders sitting next to them saw them come, saw them sit down, lay the radio down, and then the two subjects ran into the water. Now, the experimenters also arranged for a thief to come up and steal the radio. And then they wanted to see what would happen. What would the bystanders do in that situation? Well, in the 20 times that they ran that experiment, the bystanders stopped the thief only 4 times. So then they ran the experiment again. And the second time they ran the experiment, everything was the same. They set up the towel, they set up the radio, they made sure that the bystanders saw him doing that, and they adjusted one variable. They turned to the bystanders and they said, Will you watch my things? Will you watch my things? They got an audible response from the bystanders, and they ran into the water. The thief came up. The thief took the radio, and 19 times the bystanders stopped the thief. Now, what's the lesson in that? Well, Cialdini would go on with more research, more studies, more analysis, and really say one important thing about this, where he was sort of going, was that you need to verbalize your goals. If you say or write down your goals, you are much more likely to achieve them than just thinking about them. Fair enough. That's good advice for when you go off to college and university. I think the second piece of advice, which is really good advice for nowadays, is that if given the chance, people are pretty good, and they'll help us out, and they will work with us. And so that's a nice bit of takeaway. But I also think the third bit of advice that's really helpful for graduates now and for all of us in our lives is that you have to ask for what you want. You have to ask for what you want. So as you move on into your lives, know that people will help you, but think about the beach, think about your transistor, and ask for help. Now, I know a lot of the parents in the room, they're thinking, well, that's a pretty interesting story, Dr. Earhart, but we've been saying this since you were wee big, because the oldest advice that you probably remember getting was use your words. Use your words. And so you're going to get a lot more advice tonight. I hope you have it in you to listen a little bit more, but know that all of us here are rooting for you as you move on to the next stage in your lives, and we will be here. All you have to do is ask. So at this time, I'd like to introduce the member of our board of directors. Independent schools are governed by boards who accept the responsibilities for the school's long-term success. Carey Academy's board is a group of highly respected community leaders. They model excellence in their careers, in their community service, and in their commitment to our school. As I list the names of our board members in attendance today, I'd like to ask them to stand when introduced. And at the end, would you please join me in giving them a round of applause? Jim Goodnight. Ann Goodnight. Monica Udell. Kendall Bell. Mike Curran. Lanita Dorflinger. Jeff Eakes. Sandra Gutierrez. Bob Ingram. Jim Johnson. Jeff Kenny. Glenn Kleiman. Lori Mezabov. Greg Sanchez. And Jennifer Weiss. Thank you. We will now hear from some very special individuals. All the students speaking today will share their honor of having been selected by their classmates. Kushi Sharana will present a special thank you from the class of 2017.
Good afternoon, friends, family, and guests. Inspiring, remarkable, compassionate, supportive, hip, incredible. When I asked my classmates to describe their parents, these are just a few of the words that came up. Though no number of adjectives will ever describe how much you mean to us, these are a start. None of us would be here today without you, and I know we don't tell you this nearly enough. We're so grateful for everything that you've done for us. Thank you for everything, from staying up late while we study, to listening to our silly high school drama, to investing in our education, and for being our role models. Each one of my classmates can probably think of hundreds of instances where our parents were our heroes or our support systems. I remember that earlier this year, I failed a physics test. No, I didn't receive a 95 or a 90 or even an 85. It was much, much worse. Holding back tears after receiving my test, the first thing I wanted to do was call my parents. But they were in Thailand, and it was the middle of the night for them. Nevertheless, I quadruple texted them in the hopes that they would see my frantic messages in the morning and calm me down. Literally less than a minute after I texted them, I got a call from my dad. Still groggy from being asleep only moments before, my parents stayed on the phone with me for more than half an hour, calming me down, assuring me that this was not the end of the world, and making me feel better. This is what my parents are like all the time. They're always there to support me whenever I fail, even if they do laugh at me before they cheer me up. They're my best friends, my rocks. I know none of my classmates or I would be the strong, talented, and happy individuals we are today without you all. You've sacrificed so much for us to get here. You spent countless hours driving us back and forth from dance rehearsals, sports practice, school. You've missed days of work taking care of us when we were sick. And you've sat and comforted us when we just needed someone to believe in us. These 2 short minutes that I'm speaking today are not nearly enough to truly express our gratitude for dealing with us, feeding us, protecting us, and loving us for the past 18 years. You deserve all the best things in the world because you are the best thing in mine. Would all parents of graduates please rise? Would all graduates now please deliver their letters to their parents?
Walk up, your speech is there.
There's always someone up in the corner up there.
There's always someone up in the corner.
Not quite over the top yet. Keep telling our story. Keep asking.
What an awesome addition to this. Well done.
Actually,
You want to make sure that you introduce properly.
the senior class has selected 2 keynote speakers. We will first hear from Jackson Stafford, followed by Julia Gong. Seniors, please be seated. Thank you.
Before I begin, I would like to thank the Sauls and the Goodnights for creating what we have here, and I'd like to thank them for giving me the opportunity to speak today. I would also like to thank Robin Follett, Michael McElreath, and Heather Clarkson for always being there for us and keeping the class of 2017 intact. I would also like to thank my parents. I know this could not have been easy, and I would like to thank my friends for making the last 4 years incredible, and I'd like to thank all of you for being here today and listening to me. Coming here in 7th grade, I feel like I've really been in here for the long haul. I know this class well, and I know that if you asked any of them or 7th grade Jack Stafford if I would be standing up here senior year speaking after being elected by all of my peers, I would have said, duh. Everybody likes me, I'm really cool. And I took that attitude into high school, where I ran for vice president in 9th grade, and I lost. But I knew it was because my speech wasn't good enough. So, sophomore year, I ran again, and I had a much better speech, and I lost. But I knew it was because that each and every one of these people up here knew that I was destined for higher office. So junior year, I ran for president, and I lost. But I knew it was because our presidents each only serve 1 term, and if I served junior year, then I wouldn't be able to do it senior year when it really mattered. And so finally, senior year, I dressed up, I wrote a speech, and I ran for president, and finally, on that 4th year, I managed to lose for the 4th time. So, I lost. But today I found my space as a speaker of sorts. Normally my speeches are a little less serious than this one. Just a short recap of our fantastic year at the end of the celebratory speeches that we had yesterday. But today I feel like this occasion demands some realness, so some realness I shall give. I was never an elected official, I told you I tried, but as someone that gets to be the voice of our grade one last time before we graduate and vacate this place, I think I finally found the role that I was meant to fill. The point I hope you take away from my story is best underscored by J.R.R. Tolkien in an admittedly cliché poem he wrote for The Lord of the Rings. All that is gold does not glitter. Not all those who wander are lost. Renewed shall be the blade that was broken. The crownless again shall be king. Now, for those of you who haven't read The Lord of the Rings, the crownless king is obviously the elf Aragorn, rightful heir to the throne of Gondor. But the rest of the poem could have just as easily been written about the class of 2017. Specifically, my favorite line, not all those who wander are lost. Just because I lost 4 times doesn't mean that I was lost. So I've heard this phrase a few times, but it explains a lot about our last 4 years together, and it's comforting to me as we are about to embark on a difficult and amazing journey, because I'm not the only one who's had to start figuring out who they are here. Many of us have spent the last 4 years of high school searching for our place, and as 17 and 18-year-olds, I can assure you that we haven't found them yet. We're a long way on our journey to self-discovery. However, that doesn't mean that the last 4 years were a waste. We're still wandering, but because of Carey Academy, we are by no means lost. Even though we haven't figured out everything yet, our time together has given us the tools to do so. I've seen my friends do amazing things and learn amazing things. We know how to take risks. Some of the members of our class invested a lot of their own money and a lot of their own time to develop a trading algorithm that they didn't know would work. And as of last week, people are clamoring to invest in them. We've learned how to open ourselves up. If you spend this much time with this small of a group of people, you end up learning real things about them. There are kids up here that know all of my deepest and most embarrassing secrets, and it's this learned vulnerability that has allowed us to make meaningful relationships in our lives. We've consistently welcomed new students into our class and made them feel welcome as if they'd been with us since the beginning. And we learned to be resilient. Carey Academy may be a beautiful little bubble, but that doesn't mean that really hard things haven't happened in our lives. As a collective, we will help each other, and we will continue to help each other overcome challenges that we face. There are people up here in this crowd that I'll be calling on for the rest of my life to talk about real issues, and to me, that's the most important thing, that we can continue to overcome hardships together. Because no matter where we wander, we cannot be lost if we have 107 people that we can trust and this amazing support system that Carey Academy has created for us. But wandering doesn't only mean that we're still searching for a place. To me, it also means that you're finding new ways to accomplish things and venturing off the beaten path. This class has individuals traveling to California, Florida, Virginia, London, and even South Korea. I'm going to Scotland to figure it out. We're spreading out more and more, wandering farther than any class before, but it's not because we need to get away, mostly. It's because as a class, we've developed the strength and the bravery to be able to embark on these new adventures, because as a class, we've been wandering for years. We were the only class to get detentions for studying. We're the only class to get talked to because of our dedication to hygiene and to receive lots of constructive criticism for our video production skills. Talking to older alumni, they're surprised that our class has managed to make official casual Fridays and are equally surprised by our close friendships with our teachers. We've wandered often and people assumed that our grade was lost, but time and time again, we've shown them we just have a new way. I started writing this speech 3 weeks ago, and I wanted to be able to prove to you how unique our grade has been. But every grade is different, every grade is special, so no grade is special. But this week, as we finally prepared to graduate, I found the perfect example of how we have been influential among this community. 3 years ago, I stood at the end of year celebratory speech for mostly just the students, wearing a bright yellow tank top, and I made a joke about showering. The line was this. My speech followed the structure of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I said some of our strongest firebenders attempted to join the water tribe, and they got wet. Now, that wasn't really well written or that funny, and it wasn't very well received, but 2 days ago, at our baccalaureate, our parent speaker, our faculty speaker, and the principal, maybe, of our school, all individually made jokes about showering. They said that they have had showers of hardship. They reminded us to always shower alone. And they showered us with praises. We did that. We did. We made showering the funniest thing for 3 years. Imagine what else we can do. That is an influence never before seen from any other grade before and never will be seen again. And that is something our grade does not take lightly. We changed this place. We wandered and we made everyone wander with us. And we can do that wherever we go. So as we go off to college, let's wander. Wander through the amazing campuses we've all been given the opportunity to wander through. Wander through the weird places that life will take us, but wander nonetheless. Thank you.
Wow, great way to illustrate height difference. Wow, it's getting hot in here. It must be because there's about to be 109 degrees. So thank you for bearing with me in this heat, my fellow classmates, our wonderful teachers, parents, faculty, administrators, and everyone that came here because you had to. Thank you for performing your civic duty. As RJ would say, all right, well, good, I'm glad. Well, here we are. Saplings turned trees, caterpillars turned butterflies, and cylinders turned graduated cylinders, and so on and so forth. And as I was sitting the other day under a nice, shady, and conveniently labeled tree, I realized the best way I could summarize the emotions we felt over the course of the year is this. As Mr. Lazarski would say, wait, what? As Mr. Seeley would say, so what? And as Ms. Clarkson would say, now what? Wait, what? We're graduating already? Wasn't it just 119,750,400 seconds ago that pre-puberty, much angstier and much shorter versions of ourselves filed into class and began to own our learning? Oh, how time flies. I was just looking around our campus and I thought, these 4 years have been pretty good, what with our sprawling green quad, pristine dining hall, and distinctive lack of existential guttural screams, which is always a good sign. And I realized, there's a lot we're going to miss. Small classes where you're not just a number, knowing everyone in our grade, knowing all of our teachers knowing us, their wisdom, patience, and insight. Sleep. School-issued tablets. Those old styluses from our 9th grade tablets that aren't as easy to carry around, but it's so worth it. Unlimited color printing unless they're jammed. Snow days. Advisory. Actually, I don't know if we're going to miss that. Skype for Business, which we'll continue to call Link. Jeff. Just Jeff. Time set aside for lunch in our schedule. Free periods, some more than others. Like those of you with 18 per week, how did you do that? And can you please teach me your ways? Hanging out with friends and teachers after school, going home every evening, early dismissals, no midterm or final exams, and Chef Sam bringing back our favorites. And most of all, each other. We've probably taken for granted that our friends are just a drive away and not, across the entire globe. that we can joke around with teachers, that our librarians know us by name, that administrators greet us with salutations, esteemed students, but also, hey, what's up? That if everything goes wrong, we still have our family. Being able to squint across the hall 1 minute after econ should have started and go, yeah, that's definitely RJ. Ms. Cachuto's Snoopy stickers and Mr. Coven's explanations about why the pillars on the buildings don't match, and Mr. Nolan's calculus jokes, and Mr. Urioste's great books, and Senor Quesada's dance moves. Being able to walk into Mr. Russian's lab and hear, let's blow some stuff up. Counting on Mr. Lazarski for our daily dose of chickens. And together we've come a long way. We've made it through passive-aggressive college emails. Julia, are you there? Am I reaching Julia? Julia, our automated, yet most sincere birthday wishes. And the most heartfelt, dear Julia, I was happy to learn of your interest and wanted to let you know that I will be visiting high school name in city state, on date at time. Sincerely, name title. Okay. Status check. We've gotten into college, we've survived high school, and I made it this far, but I've been holding it in too long, and I have to talk about trees now. You see, there's a special kind of tree, the quaking aspen, that I think represents our class very well. Quaking aspens have a shared root system, meaning that the root spreads underground and creates colonies of trees that grow from the same root. But above ground, they look like completely separate trees. Just like the quaking aspen, on the surface, we all have plenty of unique quirks and idiosyncrasies, seemingly unrelated, but deep down we're all connected by a unifying support system, our roots. We've been through thick and thin, and for some of us, apparently mostly thick. And no matter where we go, let's not forget these roots, these memories that we share, the laughter at lunch, dressing up as a group for Halloween, the video games in the sea, the football on the quad, sharing snacks at track meets, titrations in the chemistry lab. Let's remember to thank our beloved parents, teachers, and college counselors who gave us our foundation, those who turned our boo-hoos into woo-hoos, those who added extra support when a storm knocked us over, who regularly pruned our unruly shoots, who spread the mulch underneath our feet so that we could grow taller. But at the same time, as we look toward college and beyond, let's embrace those unique, weird, quirky things that makes each of us who we are, things that take us on different paths, that make us spread our branches toward the sky, let us experiment and take risks. The lessons we've learned here don't end here. Whether you're publishing a dystopian novel or finding a cure for lung cancer, remember to have boldness of thinking and vividness of language. Remember to keep your cool when things get tough, to remember that failing is fine, and to have faith in your core values and to believe in your seemingly far-fetched dreams for the future. Meet the bar, then raise the bar, then set the bar, anything but be behind the bars. Don't lose your sense of wonder, stay curious, try random things, chase your passions. And yes, sometimes the soil will turn acidic and our leaves will fall out. And yes, sometimes a fungus might try to kill our vibe or slowly suck the life out of us. And yes, sometimes there will be a drought and our roots will dry up. And yes, there will be forest fires. But remember, after every fire, there is secondary succession and germination of new seeds. For every parasitic protozoan in your life, there will be a friendly, symbiotic, nitrogen-fixing bacterium. So, now what? Carey Academy has planted a seed in each of us. For some, that might be a sturdy white oak. For others, a versatile loblolly pine, or a vibrant ginkgo biloba, or an intricate Acer japonicum. And for others still, I don't know, maybe a magic beanstalk or something. But now, what happens to those trees is up to us. And because trees can grow to be really old, like they will almost always outlive us, case in point, redwood forest, we have the chance to leave a lasting legacy. So regardless of whether your passions are evergreen or deciduous, if you're a hardwood or a softwood, in the end, when we leaf here, we have the potential to change the world. Put your best branch forward. Just like that famous person once said, if not us, now. If not who, when? Oh wait, is that not exactly how it went? You get my point. It all starts with these 109 degrees. And class of 2017, congratulations. because that's some hot stuff. Thank you.
Somewhere far from nowhere I grew up strong and tall, longing to become, but knowing not the path at all.
But the footprints of the winter melted to fields of spring. One last embrace before I cross the threshold. To life we sing.
the upper school closing ceremony Thursday afternoon, we recognized many students for demonstrating excellence in a variety of areas during this past school year. At Commencement, we show our appreciation for the generosity and vision of Carey Academy's founders by presenting one special award. The Founders Award is presented to a member of the senior class who, in the opinion of the upper school faculty and head of school, has acted as a model for all Carey Academy students through leadership, collaboration, excellence, and contribution to the school community. Each of Carey Academy's previous Founders Award recipients left a distinctive and enduring mark on our school. This year's recipient has done the same. This year's Founder Award recipient is a young woman who sets new standards for what is possible, investing incredible energy and sheer exuberance in each of her endeavors. Academically, she has blazed through our curriculum in unprecedented fashion, bending and shaping it to accommodate her extraordinary talent, her insatiable desire to know more. Her teachers describe her as a scatterplot of brilliance, interested in everything, amazing at everything. I've never met another student who gives more of themselves in making their intellectual pursuits meaningful and lasting, writes one teacher. Her curiosity and dedication to research is unmatched. To increase awareness of our campus's biodiversity, she created a tree map identifying and labeling every species of tree on the grounds with individual QR codes linked to a website that she created. An avid tinkerer and resourceful problem solver, she won a National Bluetooth Breakthrough Award for one of her inventions, and while she has not yet discovered the cure for cancer, she spent last summer interning at SAS and utilized image analysis to devise skin cancer detection software. A science and computer science phenomenon, she's a member of our award-winning programming team, a National Chemistry Olympiad qualifier, and de facto four-year captain of our Science Olympiad varsity squad. She was the first junior to serve as president of our Key Club and also founded Our Story, a club predicated on the idea that every individual has a valuable and unique story to share. On top of that, she's a peer tutor, an award-winning photographer and poet, and a master of the pun. Her intellect, passion, and perpetual positive energy are remarkable. She is dedicated to changing the world from a scientist's perspective, from a humanitarian perspective, one story, one invention at a time. Her presentation in our inaugural TEDx event was titled, "Shoot for Pluto, Land on the Moon, the Importance of Setting Seemingly Unattainable Goals." Nothing is unattainable for this extraordinary young woman. Mrs. Udell, would you please join me on behalf of all of our founders, as it is a great pleasure to present the 2017 Founders Award to Julia Gong.
Educator, entrepreneur, global business leader, philanthropist, visionary. Today, we were especially honored to welcome Dr. Jim Goodnight, the co-founder and CEO of SAS, the world's leading business analytics software company, and the co-founder of Carey Academy, to deliver our school's 2017 and 20th anniversary commencement address. Harvard Business School named him a great American business leader. Inc. magazine named him one of America's 25 most fascinating entrepreneurs. How do I appropriately introduce this giant to you, the class of 2017, and all of the Carey Academy family gathered here today? The starting and ending point of this introduction is simply that the fabric and soul, essentially Carey Academy's DNA, is inextricably linked to that of our founders. As SAS's CEO, Dr. Jim Goodnight has led the company since its inception in 1976, overseeing an unbroken chain of growth and profitability that is unprecedented in the industry. Under his leadership, SAS has become renowned for its innovation and corporate culture. SAS software was originally created by Dr. Jim Goodnight, Dr. John Saul, and North Carolina State colleagues to analyze agricultural research data. 4 decades later, a solid reputation for innovation has secured SAS among the world's largest software companies. Each year, SAS continues this commitment to breakthrough technology by reinvesting about 1/4 of total revenue in research and development, nearly double the percentage of other large software companies. The company's strategy to provide an environment where employees can reach peak performance has been showcased in Harvard Business Review. SAS's commitment to work-life balance has made the company a fixture on best workplaces lists worldwide, including #1 on the Fortune list and #1 on the Great Place to Work Institution's multinational ranking. Dr. Goodnight asserts that innovation is the key to success in this business, and creativity fuels innovation. He continues, creativity is especially important to SAS because software is the product of the mind. 95% of my assets drive out of the gate every evening. It's my job to maintain a work environment that keeps those people coming back each morning. Born in Salisbury, North Carolina, Dr. Goodnight has strong and dedicated ties to North Carolina. He earned his bachelor's degree in applied mathematics and his master and doctorate in statistics from North Carolina State University, where he also served as a faculty member from 1972 through 1976. His passion for learning led him to endow several North Carolina State University professorships and make education the focus of SAS's philanthropy. In 1997, together with his wife Ann and SAS co-founder John Saul and his wife Ginger, Dr. Goodnight co-founded Carey Academy. He served as Carey Academy's board chair from 1997 to 2011 and continues to remain active as a founding board member and more recently as a Carey Academy grandparent. Our founder's goal was to create a college preparatory school dedicated to academics, arts, athletics, and a global appreciation which integrates technology into all facets of education. Consider this. Since opening the doors in 1997, Carey Academy is one of the first U.S. independent schools or public schools to equip a computer for each of its students. In the past year, Carey Academy has been recognized among nationwide peer schools for the integrated ways that our students drive their own learning using multiple technology tools. Additionally, our founders envisioned a mission-driven school committed to discovery, innovation, collaboration, and excellence that modeled best educational practices and fostered a respectful, inclusive, and compassionate learning environment for all community members. During its first 20 years, Carey Academy has received a national accolade such as being a Blue Ribbon School of Excellence and is consistently ranked as a top independent school in North Carolina and in the Southeast. Most importantly, our founders' cutting-edge vision, extraordinary generosity, and ongoing to Carey Academy's mission made it possible to create unparalleled learning experiences for each of our 1,550 alumni and their family. By any measure, today's commencement speaker is among the world's best. Please join me in showing our gratitude for our founders' vision, passion, generosity, and commitment to Carey Academy. It's my distinct pleasure to welcome our co-founder, Dr. Jim Goodnight.
Well, Monica, that introduction was longer than my speech. And it had a lot of the same stuff in it, too. Well, welcome teachers and staff, friends and families, and the people we're all here to celebrate, the graduating seniors. Congratulations to all of you. You've worked hard here and are well prepared for college. Since opening in 1997, Carey Academy has been committed to providing a curriculum that challenges our students and also reflects our mission of discovery, innovation, collaboration, and excellence. In addition, Carey Academy provides an environment that encourages students to discover new talents and interests, to take risks, to develop physically and emotionally, as well as academically. When you ask students, parents, and teachers to describe Carey Academy, you'll often hear the word community. A strong sense of community has evolved here, as well as a strong sense of dedication to service. We are fortunate to have bright, engaged students who reflect well on the school and its traditions. We are fortunate to have parents who are committed to the best college prep curriculum available. And we are fortunate to have extraordinary teachers who help us meet and exceed our high standards and who inspire their students to soar even higher. Now, graduations are traditionally a time for giving advice, but when I'm around bright, capable people like you, my philosophy has always been to get out of the way and just let you be you. But tradition is tradition, and I realize I did have some accumulated wisdom I could share, so allow me to relate 3 lessons that I have learned over the years. The first is quite simple. It's to do what you love. Now, some of you may already know what inspires you, and others may need more time to discover it. For me, the moment came in my sophomore year at college. One day I walked past a lab and saw an IBM Selectric typewriter that was typing all by itself. Now, I had to learn how on earth it was doing that, so I signed up for the only computer programming course at NC State. And in a lucky twist of fate, that course was taught by members of the statistics department. For me, it was like a light bulb went on, 2 things that were great on their own, statistics and programming. And I joined up to become something I liked even better, and I was hooked. I spent the following summer programming at 2 different jobs, and in the fall went to work part-time for the Department of Statistics while I continued school. I found that writing code that actually helped other people gave me an immense sense of satisfaction. And from that point on, I had a purpose and a goal, and while much more had to happen before my company SAS came to be, that was really the start of all the good things that followed. My point to all of you is to be on the lookout for your own personal spark. Think about what captures your imagination and become an expert at that, because that's the thing that's going to get you excited about going to work every day. And getting paid to do what you love should be your ultimate career goal. I might add that this is why I've always cared so much about making my company a great place to work. Because once you find your passion and train to be the best in it, getting the actual work done should remain a pleasure. But for too many people, that isn't the case. Research says that over half of the people in the U.S. hate their job. And I think that's terrible, but it's also preventable. So I put a lot of energy into preventing it by building a place where people can be happy at work. And if I think about all the things I've done in my life, creating a great place to work is one of my proudest achievements. So my graduation wish for you is twofold: that you will find your own passion and a great workplace in which to pursue it. Be picky and don't settle for anything less. The second lesson I want to share is don't be afraid of failure. This is a tough one for you high achievers because you're used to working hard and doing well. But the older you get, the more you see that failure has a value as a necessary part of the learning process. Trying and failing is one of the fastest ways around to acquire experience. In fact, that's even one famous definition of an expert: someone who has made all the mistakes that can possibly be made in a very narrow field. Now, let me give you an example from my own past. Back in the 80s, RDU was expanding, and the major carrier at the time, American, decided to close their hub here. Well, we needed a locally based airline that could take their place, and that was Midway Airlines, which I chose to buy. Now, as you can imagine, operating an airline is seriously difficult, not to mention expensive. But I was glad to make the investment because I knew we were helping people right here in the Triangle. And for a while it worked. The problems arose after 9/11 when business travel declined sharply and people flew less. When those two things happened, our expenses began to exceed our revenue by a lot, and we couldn't foresee when that business might correct itself. So we let the airline file for bankruptcy. And I turned my focus to other things, but the experience had value. For one thing, I learned I was much better at software. And also that you have to know when to stop digging. I guess it's their sense of pride, but so many people refuse to stop digging a hole once they've started. To really win, you need the courage to admit when a hole is deep enough and walk away. Because you can always start digging another hole, but at least it won't be as deep and as costly as a really big one you're leaving behind. Now, the third and final thing I want to share is, if you really believe in what you're doing, give it everything you've got, even if others have doubts. And that was the case with the creation of this school. I'm not sure if you know the story, but the idea of Carey Academy arose when my son James was in a public school. His classroom there was overcrowded. He wasn't getting much time with the teacher who had to cope with 200 students a day. Well, we envisioned a better way, a school that would have smaller classes, cutting-edge technology, and great teachers who had the resources they needed to do the very best work. As soon as the idea occurred to us, my wife and I, and John and Ginger, Saul, sprang into action. We hired an architect, assembled a team, and toured a large number of top schools all over the country. The team sought advice on what was working and what wasn't, and studied the layouts and architectures of the school. We gave it everything we had, and 2 years later we opened. And 20 years later, here you are, some of the brightest and best prepared students in the country. You make me very proud. And if you've had a good experience here and find you want to pay it forward, there is something that you can do in return. You can look to your future and give it everything that you've got. You see, Carey Academy has already taught you how to work hard. Your classes weren't easy, and your extracurriculars stretched your boundaries, but you rose to the challenge and learned to operate at peak performance. The secret now is not to let up. You may actually find your freshman year of college easier than Carey Academy, but keep working as hard as you can, because successful people don't coast. Well, to recap, I hope that you will find what you love to do and do that. Have the courage when a hole is really deep enough to just stop digging. And when you're pursuing something that's really important to you, give it everything that you've got. If you remember these things, I have no doubt that the best is yet to come. Thank you, and congratulations to all the students and families on reaching this wonderful milestone.
Dr. Goodnight, thank you very much for your inspirational remarks. And would Palmer Seeley, senior class grade leader, Mrs. Udell, and Dr. Goodnight, representing the founders of CA, please come forward to assist with the presenting of the diplomas.
Members of the board, faculty, staff, administration, and guests, it is my privilege to present to you the following members of the senior class. They have met all the requirements to earn the Carey Academy diploma. Seniors, when your name is called, please come forward to receive your diploma. With the seniors on my right, please prepare to receive that diploma. Alicia Anisha Abayakumar. Michael Peter Albersi. Aryan Shakil Ansari. Brittany Catherine Baker. Thomas Lee Baker. Esra Balkis. Victoria Michelle Banks. Alexander Lloyd Barnett. Kimberly Ann Yangsan Bell. Marissa Kiara Bishop. Damon Wallace Blair. Rachel Elizabeth Blum. Sarah May Bodmer. Tatiana Isabel Bojorquez. Davidson Barnes Braswell. Emma Lee Briggs. Kelly Cecilia Bright. Thomas Edwin Bright. Andrew Harrison Brody. Lauren Taylor Callahan. Charles Liam Carricker. Joseph Griffin Cece. Justin Ander Chen. Catherine Lindsay Cobb. Megan Elizabeth Cowan. Michael James Crow. Natalie Marie Daniels. Ruhi Archana Dolakia. Georgia Louise Dietz. Claire Elizabeth Doyle.
Start
Jillian Grace Etter. Colin Joseph Flynn. William Anson Fowler. Brett Lewis Frankel. Viraj Kumar Garg. Rachel Mary George. Mackenzie Catherine Gibbon. Corey James Gibson. Matthew David Glosson. Anna Elizabeth Go. Julia Xiaozhe Gong. Reagan Lee Griffin. Deming Lee Haynes. Alyssa Ann Hafferty. Mackenzie Knight Harmon. Brooke Elizabeth Harris. Jacob Lane Henderson. Taylor Reese Hill. Abigail Rose Hoyle. Daniel Jacob Hong. Cameron Vincent Ingram. Ryan Kelke Jansen. Jessica Ann Jenkins. Grace Jin. Rachel Danielle Johns. Eliana Mae Johnson. Jonathan Xavier Kovinsky. Ari Noble Kaufman. Keegan Patrick Kearns. Christoph Tyler Ketchmark. Annika Finley Klein. Samuel Parker Kozlowski. Emily Elizabeth Lane. Cameron Patrick Latta. Andrew Robert Lee. Matthew John Lee. Rachel Elizabeth Lee. Baruch Zerihan Lema. Caroline Ejang Lin. Catherine Shuixiao Lin. Jared Michael Lipson. Tyler Andrew Marshall. Rachel Cameron Marston. John Mavros Maxfield. Jessica Ann McCoppin. Victoria Lynn McFarlane. Franklin Todd McGowan. Matthew Holton Mitten. Luke Davis Morin. Elizabeth Joyce Morris. Margaret Alice Muth. Samuel Eric Meyer. Caleb Heath Norfleet. Yusuf Mtingwa Nyangoro. Oluwabamisha Amatomilola Ogundipe. Pauline Claire Poels. John Marvin Peterson. Alex Chow. Jacqueline Elizabeth Riley. Drake Walker Richards. Catherine Julia Rogers. Kaylin Elizabeth Rost. Hannah Avery Sacklad. Patrick William Schaefer. Daniel Garner Sharp. Olivia June Sherman. Sarah Bays Sherman. Jackson Paul Stafford. Samuel Patrick Stanforth. Kushi Surana. Remy Michelle Swartz. Pranay Bennett Tankala. Eve Lucy Taylor. Divya Prasiti Vijayakumar. Charlotte Noe Wechter. Kieran Tyler Weinmiller. Fiona Jane Wissink. Lindsay Finnegan Regg. Ian Gordon Wright. Would the entire senior class please rise? Tassels ready. Mrs. Udell, I hereby present to you the Carey Academy Class of 2017.
Graduates, please be seated. Congratulations, class of 2017. On behalf of Carey Academy's Board of Directors, I am delighted to be the first to welcome you to Carey Academy's growing alumni network. Now that you're ready for the next steps, I offer my thoughts on how building relationships will help you craft a rich college experience. Both universities and their graduates identify relationships between faculty and students as a hallmark of an outstanding educational experience. From your Carey Academy years, each of you know that to be true. One of the distinctive features that each Carey Academy class appreciates is that our faculty teach, mentor, and encourage you inside and outside the classroom. While these close student-faculty relationships are the norm in our learning environment, that will not necessarily be the case during your college years unless you work to make it happen. Yes, you can foster similar relationships with your professors. It doesn't matter if you'll be attending a small school in Scotland, a medium school in the Midwest, or a large school down Tobacco Road. Class of 2017, take initiative to actively engage and own these relationships. Your professors dedicated their lives to becoming experts in their academic areas. They will be flattered to share their life's work and passion with you. Be genuinely curious and interested in their paths. I challenge each of you to do the following. Early in your first semester, choose one of your professors and make an appointment during office hours. Be interested, ask and listen to your professor's stories. Solicit his or her advice about making the most of your college years. At minimum, you will distinguish yourselves from those who visit office hours solely seeking a spot in an overbooked class or when they're lobbying for an extra point or two on a midterm exam. This conversation may spark an emerging area of interest for you and lead to a second or third discussion, a research opportunity, internship, or who knows, eventually a meaningful friendship. But don't expect this to happen magically. You'll need to leap into that uncomfortable zone and take the first step. Graduates, you've distinguished yourselves as a class willing to expand your world far beyond the triangle, as demonstrated by the 57 distinct colleges and universities that you've selected to attend in the fall. I challenge you to actively understand the uniqueness that you'll find on your college campus. Participate in a club or social activity that is unlike anything you've tried before. Attend a campus-wide speakers series on a topic that you know nothing about. Take time to deeply listen to the perspective of a peer that differs from you in one or more social identifiers like ethnicity, gender, political, religious, social backgrounds, or beliefs. Quiet the mental chatter of agreeing or disagreeing with what you hear. Simply seek to understand. Practicing empathic listening will amaze you in ways that you can't imagine. Let the timeless adage remind us, make new friends but keep the old. Realize that during your first semester, you will engage in a lot of small talk as you get to know your peers and assess who may actually become your real friends. Be patient with yourselves and your new acquaintances as you ask and answer the same superficial questions over and over again. Friendships take time to develop. If your experience mirrors that of Carey Academy graduates who came before you, you'll gain a deeper appreciation for how meaningful your relationships within our learning community are. Inevitably, the road that each of you travel will be uniquely yours. As you continue along this journey, invite others along with you during times of celebration as well as during times of challenge or disappointment. Be open to lending an ear or a hand to past, present, or future Carey Academy students who reach out to you. You are forever a Charger and will always be an important part of our hearts. Carey Academy made a difference in your lives. Now it's your time to become difference makers for life. To each of you, we wish heartfelt congratulations on your many accomplishments, and we can't wait to see what your future holds.
Congratulations, graduates, and now let's hear from the Carey Academy singers.
into the nothingness. There ain't nothing that I need.
Being awkward junior high, chicken tenders, charge of pride. Sure I'm sad to leave it all behind.
Let me come home. Home is wherever I'm with you. Home. Let me come home. Home is wherever I'm with you.
I'll follow you into the park, through the jungle, through the dark. Girl, I've never loved one like you. Moats and boats and waterfalls, alleyways and payphone calls. I've been everywhere with you.
That's true.
Laughing till we think we'll cry, barefoot on a summer night. There ain't nothing sweeter with you. And in the streets you run it free, like it's only you and me. Gee, you're something to see.
Let me come home. Home is wherever I'm with you. Let me come home. Home is wherever I'm with you. Take me home. Daddy, I'm coming home. Let me come home. Home is wherever I'm with you. Let me come home. Home is wherever I'm with you. Let me come home. Home is wherever I'm with you. Yes, I am home. Home is wherever I'm with you. Alabama, heartbreak song. I do love my ride and ride. Boats and waterfalls. Alleyways and payphone calls. Let me come home. Home is wherever I'm with you. Yes, I am home. Home is wherever I'm with you.
I'd like to express my thanks to all of the members of our community who have helped work diligently to make this commencement special. Michael Hayes, Shannon Clark, Chris Gilmore, Kelly Katronis, Jeff Wasensky, Jess Garcia and his facilities staff, and Kim Fogelman. You work exceedingly hard to make every commencement magical, and once again, you've been successful. So thank you. Thank you, Emily Turner, Linda Velto, and our concert choir, and Yi Ying Chow and our orchestra musicians for making this ceremony all the more beautiful. Thank you. To Carey Academy's faculty and staff, our school is not buildings and sports fields. It's not laptops and trips. You are the heart and soul of this very special place. Thank you for sharing your grace, your wisdom, and your love with this year's graduating seniors. Finally, I'd like to recognize any alumni in attendance today. Would you please stand? Thanks for staying connected with your school, and we're delighted that you joined us today. Now, would you please rise and join our Cary Academy singers in the alma mater, which is printed at the end of your program.
Mike, you're going to lead off? We are. You two?
Yeah, we'll lead off. Yep. Yep. Now, as we close, our faculty and staff will exit first to form a receiving line for our new graduates. Please give all the graduates an opportunity to exit the line before leaving. And we invite you all to join us in a reception honoring our graduates in the Fitness Center, which is in the building directly to your right upon exiting.